She storms into headlines and leaves audiences wondering, is Angel Reese a groundbreaking basketball star? Or is she letting online fame eclipse her true potential? From jaw-dropping confessions of calling the cops on her babysitter to a polarizing dance routine right before a crucial game, Angel's story goes far beyond your average athlete's play-by-play highlights. What begins as a simple tale of a rising sports prodigy quickly spirals into a complex web of controversies, rumors, and raw ambition. Few saw it coming, but everyone has an opinion. No matter where you stand, whether you believe she's the next big thing in women's basketball or just another flashy personality doomed to fade, you can't deny her ability to captivate an audience. And it all started in a place she calls home, Baltimore. But why has her every move caused such a rift among fans, critics, and even her own teammates? To truly understand Angel Reese, we must rewind to where it all began, where an early streak of rebellious behavior once led to phone calls that nobody saw coming. Before Angel Reese ever attracted a national spotlight, she was just a spirited kid growing up in Baltimore, though spirited might be an understatement. Even as a child, Angel had a flair for the dramatic that foreshadowed her current life in the limelight. While many future athletes focus on youth leagues and local tournaments, young Angel was making waves in an entirely different way. According to her own words, Angel frequently butted heads with babysitters. If she didn't like a babysitter's rules, she had a drastic response. She'd dial the authorities. Yes, you heard that right. Angel called the cops on her babysitter more than once. In her recollection, it wasn't because of physical harm or genuine danger. It was simply because she didn't want that particular person watching her. Those around her, especially her mother, found these calls alarming and humiliating. Imagine coming home to find your child on the phone with the police simply to protest a babysitter's presence. Her mother quickly realized that her daughter needed a more powerful wake-up call. Legend has it, Angel's mother drafted fake paperwork that threatened foster care for Angel and her brother if they didn't shape up. Terrified that their mother might actually send them away, the two children scrambled to be on their best behavior. In that tense household moment, Angel began learning a lesson that stuck with her. If you push the boundaries too far, prepare for harsh consequences. But this rebellious streak didn't vanish. It evolved, taking new forms as she grew older. Those early phone calls were just the tip of the iceberg. Before long, Angel found another place to direct her fierce energy, basketball. Yet that early rebellious spark would come back in ways no one expected. Even as she tamed her childhood whims, there was another stage calling for her big personality. And it was on the basketball court that she'd transform from a rebellious kid into a promising star. Though the attitude never really went away. In Baltimore, basketball courts often serve as proving grounds for the city's toughest and most talented. Young Angel Reese discovered that her bold spirit, once directed at babysitters, could just as easily energize her on the hardwood. She rose quickly through local leagues, showcasing an uncanny knack for rebounds and a willingness to battle opponents under the rim. Those who watched her play in high school describe her as a force of nature. Her height was an advantage, but it was her unwavering tenacity that set her apart. Scouts started buzzing about her potential, and soon enough, she was on a fast track to college-level competition. As she made waves in collegiate basketball, her name became a trending topic among devoted hoops fans. Yet while she racked up stats and supporters, murmurs also surfaced that Angel might be too headstrong for her own good. Some whispered that her flamboyant nature, once comedic in childhood, was slowly becoming controversial. Detractors argued she spent too much time cultivating an image, whereas her admirers insisted that her flair only made her a more riveting player to watch. Every star has critics, especially in the realm of sports. But the real test of Angel's resilience came not on the basketball court alone. It came through a different, modern arena: social media. Once she stepped into that spotlight, praise and condemnation escalated to a fever pitch. Even the most talented athlete can stumble when outside pressures overshadow the game. Angel's next big challenge would appear in the form of a simple post, one that ignited a social media frenzy unlike anything she'd experienced before. For many players, the routine before a big game includes stretching, last-minute strategy talks, or quiet focus in the locker room. For Angel Reese, a flashy dance video captured on her phone felt like the perfect way to energize herself. It seemed harmless at first, a brief clip posted online to get fans pumped. But within hours, the video took on a life of its own. In the footage, Angel can be seen swaying and striking playful poses, complete with that trademark grin her supporters adore. The problem? She shared it on a game day when her performance turned sour. Her team lost, and she personally struggled. Immediately after, critics swarmed social media, accusing her of caring more about choreographed moves than layups. Some fans went as far as mocking her form on the dance floor, while others hurled personal insults. That single dance post began to symbolize all the polarizing opinions about her. On one side, supporters loved that she showed personality and confidence, pointing out that athletes are also human beings allowed to have fun. On the other side, a wave of negative comments painted her as lacking discipline and letting fame go to her head. Insults ranged from borderline comedic to downright nasty, with a few people dragging her appearance into the discussion. In the echo chamber of social media, the criticisms kept piling up, fueling each other until the negativity overshadowed almost everything else. Angel's defenders were quick to fight back, calling the hateful remarks immature and excessive. What did Angel do in response? She doubled down, continuing to post glimpses into her life that included both her training and her free-spirited moments. She seemingly refused to let the online storm dictate how she should behave. But the timing of that dance video couldn't have been worse, and soon, fans began to speculate whether her performance on the court was truly suffering under the weight of her online persona. As social media chatter reached a boiling point, a rough game performance would catapult her controversies to a whole new level. Some wondered if the Angel Reese story was heading toward a disaster. Then came the matchup that sparked a wildfire of opinions. The stakes were high, anticipation was in the air, and Angel Reese seemed off her game. She picked up a handful of fouls early, and by the second half, her presence on the court had all but vanished. For someone touted as a star player, shooting only 4 of 10 from the field was an uncharacteristic and disappointing outing. What made matters worse was that the social media video of her dancing leaked around the same time frame. It didn't take long for fans, analysts, and internet commentators to link her poor performance to her pregame antics. Some commentators saw it as confirmation that her priorities were skewed. Others questioned whether she was trying to juggle basketball and a budding online celebrity status, leading to cracks in her focus. It felt like everyone had an opinion, from professional sports analysts to casual watchers. Critics hammered her for being all style, no substance, suggesting she might be eyeing brand deals or influencer contracts more than working on her shot accuracy. Supporters countered that every athlete is entitled to a bad night, especially under mounting pressure and constant scrutiny. But the negativity was relentless. Even her well-wishers found it hard to drown out the relentless barrage of mocking remarks. Angel, for her part, continued to project confidence, at least publicly. Some questioned if this was a coping mechanism, while others applauded her for refusing to buckle under criticism. Still, the damage was done. In the eyes of many, Angel's brand was overshadowing her game. The question remained, Would she retreat into a more disciplined and private persona, or push even further into the spotlight? For those who thought Angel might buckle and disappear, the story was about to take yet another surprising turn. Behind the scenes, the lines between her personality, performance, and potential future became even more entangled. As the controversies piled up, insiders began whispering about Angel's next move. Was she considering going pro early, capitalizing on her notoriety? Or would she stick to college, refine her skills, and prove she could meet and exceed the hype? Some fans insisted that the distractions were overshadowing her undeniable athletic potential, urging Angel to step away from the limelight and focus on her craft. They argued that every dance video or flashy social media post risked undermining her credibility as a serious athlete. Others pointed out that in today's world, a strong personal brand can be just as important as raw talent, especially for women's sports. After all, endorsements and deals often hinge on visibility. Angel's outspoken nature and willingness to show her personal life could be a unique selling point, distinguishing her from quieter athletes who rarely engage online. Meanwhile, talk of WNBA aspirations never died down. If she aimed to go pro, how would these controversies affect her draft prospects? Some speculated that teams might see her as a liability off the court, while others viewed her marketability as an asset. After all, controversy can generate immense buzz, which sometimes translates into ticket sales and media coverage. Coaches who've worked with Angel reportedly have mixed feelings. They admire her hustle, her ability to lead a fast break, and her skill at positioning herself for crucial rebounds. But some worry that external pressures, social media scrutiny, brand partnerships, and constant internet feuds could chip away at her mental stamina. It's worth noting that none of these whispers have outright derailed her career, at least not yet. Angel still draws crowds and as many supporters as she does critics. But the balancing act grows more delicate with each new rumor or controversy. Transition, and just when people thought they'd seen all of Angel's drama, another batch of questions emerged, touching on deeper family tensions, rumored spats with coaches, and the ongoing aftershocks of her childhood antics. By now, Angel Reese had become one of the most talked about figures in recent memory for women's basketball. But was there more fuel to the fire that the public hadn't yet seen? Whispers of behind-the-scenes friction started to spread. Unverified stories about disagreements with coaching staff, alleged tension with teammates, and the possibility of issues brewing in her personal life. Some rumors pointed back to her childhood. Did that same streak of rebellion that led her to call the cops on a babysitter still surface during heated practices? The narrative painted her as someone unwilling to compromise or heed instructions, a trait that can be a double-edged sword in the competitive sports world. Even so, none of this has been fully confirmed. It's unclear which rumors hold a kernel of truth and which are products of the internet rumor mill. Angel herself has addressed a handful of controversies head-on, admitting she's not perfect but learning every day. She's also embraced the notion that, yes, her upbringing shaped her into someone who challenges authority. Speculation continues to swirl about brand deals, as some companies might be hesitant to sign an athlete mired in online squabbles. Others might see her as exactly the kind of headline-making personality they want representing them. The line between success and scandal can be razor thin, and Angel's name hovers somewhere in that uncertain space. Through it all, her fans stay fiercely loyal. In their eyes, she's a unique figure, someone who can break boundaries for female athletes, injecting personality and unapologetic flair into a sphere that often discourages individuality. Critics say that's precisely the problem, that she's overshadowing her skill with spectacle. As the spotlight keeps intensifying, the final question remains: Will Angel Reese harness this controversy to propel her career to new heights? Or will it become the factor that undermines everything she's worked for? Angel Reese's journey has been anything but predictable. She's the athlete who once dialed the police to protest a babysitter, only to transform into a formidable force on the basketball court. She's the viral video star whose pregame dance sparked debates about professionalism and passion. She's also the potential WNBA powerhouse whose every move now stands under a magnifying glass of public scrutiny. It's easy to reduce her story to a headline: talented but distracted, confident or overconfident, or authentic or attention-seeking. Yet Angel Reese defies neat categorization, embodying both raw basketball prowess and a personality too large for traditional molds. In a realm where female athletes often struggle to gain mainstream attention, Angel's ability to generate conversation, positive or negative, could become her ticket to enduring fame. Or it could be the very thing that keeps her from reaching her full potential on the court. As fans, critics, and sponsors continue to watch her every move, the real question lingers. Will Angel Reese sharpen her focus and deliver jaw-dropping performances that convert skeptics into believers? Or will her brand-driven decisions and social media storms overshadow her genuine athletic gifts? Only time can reveal the full picture. For now, Angel's story stands as a reminder that the modern athlete walks a tightrope between skill and spectacle. If Angel manages to balance them gracefully, she might just rewrite the playbook for what a sports star can be, rebellious childhood antics and all.